So this next session is discussing opportunities and challenges for women entrepreneurs in the global innovation value chain. Women do not wait for the future. When one woman helps another, amazing things happen and they become innovators. This panel will explore how women can be included in the innovation process, in the startup economy, and in research and development. The discussants will touch on opportunities for women entrepreneurs in early stage equity markets and the challenges women entrepreneurs face as they create success stories. My first panelist is Adan Akademir from the Turkish Trade Association. Oh, welcome. He was super excited to be on this panel. You can tell. Um, they'll put up your name. Um, he is also the president of Sifisan Entertainment Investments. Is that the one that had the nice video, the cinema story? Oh, I watched that one and I was very intrigued. I was not in Istanbul the time people went for a tour. The next panelist is my dear new friend and sister, Ms. Shaylee Chopra from the USA. So she will expand on her profile when she is introduced. And the last but not the least, we do have the Bahrain Chamber of Commerce again. Remember the ones that had the most money in the last panel? They are back with more. So we will now call back our moderator, Madam Tina. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
So thank you very much. I've literally just got the job in the last 5 minutes. So I think we will give each other grace. Thank you so much again, Mr. Adnan, Shaylee, and Sonia. Yes. So in this session, we're going to be discussing opportunities and challenges for women entrepreneurs in the global innovation value chain. The time for women leadership has come. Women have made impressive marks in politics. We know that because we have Her Excellency here, the sixth president of Mauritius. I don't think we've had a female president yet. Not that. Five so far. Wow, that's cool. Wonderful. So women have made impressive marks in politics, the business world, making their voices heard and breaking the glass ceiling of boardrooms, including those in the male-dominated technology industry. More and more women parade into tech companies or even become startup entrepreneurs, making their mark in the male-dominated industry. In 2017, Forbes list of the world's most powerful women, 18 of these she-bosses, that's a new term, work in the tech industry. The rise of women startups is not a Western phenomenon. In China, where women are often relegated to a submissive backseat role, 55% of all startups are owned by women, according to the 2018 MasterCard Index of Women Entrepreneurs. So, I think it's fair to say women don't wait for the future. When one woman helps another woman, amazing things happen. We go to heaven, as we heard this morning, and we become innovators. So in this session, we're going to be exploring how women can be included in the innovative or innovation process, in the startup economy, in research, in development, and we'll also touch on opportunities for women entrepreneurs in the early stage equity market and the challenges that women entrepreneurs face as we create these success stories. So I want us to look at some of the barriers to women and girls' advancement when it comes to innovation, technology, and entrepreneurship. I'm sure that in our various nations or industries that we've come across many barriers to what do you call it, women's advancement in this area. So, Adnan, I'd like to have you first, if you want to share from your experience and your opinion, what are some of the barriers to women and girls in this space?
Uh, First of all, it's a privilege to be among such great women. as the only man in the panel.
We fought for you.
Yes, we heard that. Yeah, I'm in entertainment business, and I built several companies in Turkey, Ukraine, and Russia. So each of them, I can give my experience about women, especially in managerial positions. World statistics shows that there's about 27% managerial positions are in women's hands, which shows there's a huge inequality. So I believe there's a responsibility of existing companies. Yes, we're going forward, things are getting better, that's true, but I think the current companies have to take the steps to ensure that there is at least equal chances for women. We have just started a new company. I've built a cinema company that has grown to be the largest in this region, and I exited them, but some of our top managers were women, and the CEO in the last 5 years were a great lady, and we managed to train and support her throughout her preliminary steps from the first job she got 20 years ago and became the CEO of the company after 20 years. Now we're investing in an esports company, and we took United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and one of them is, as you know, is equal gender hiring. At least is secured there, and we're paying a lot of attention, giving the same chances. It has to start with chances. The second thing, as an entertainment industry person, we have to pay attention because we are actually affecting people subconsciously in our films, in our productions, that there should be roles like you're seeing now, super heroes. This is the beginning of this era, so that we have to affect people because, as you very well know, in every country there's social blocks, the beliefs, really not letting the woman come to the higher superhero positions. And I think it's our job to make sure that we let them take the job.
Wonderful, thank you so much. And Shaylee, what about yourself in being in the health space? What have you come to experience, in your opinion and experience, as some of the barriers to women?
You know, I was reflecting upon my journey as an entrepreneur, and I think it started way back when I was 9 years old, when I stole my mom's shoes to buy supplies to set up a free UNICEF teaching opportunities for underserved women, although that's not a very glorified start to entrepreneur thing, but the point being creativity on that. And then more recently, a few years ago, I came across a case study that was put together, and I think, Dr. Tina, you were part of that organization too. We often hear women don't have access to funds, and that's the biggest barrier for them to enter the entrepreneurial space. Ironically, I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago, a group of women and supportive men came together and put together a $1 billion fund made available for women entrepreneurs to invest in their businesses. And guess how many women applied for that? 0. 0 women applied for that fund. So the problem is not just the access to funds for women to take their deserved space in the entrepreneurial space. I think it goes a little bit deeper. It goes to financial literacy, the business literacy, really, how do I go apply? How do I model? How do I convince and show that I am capable of success in the business terms? Those are a little bit of a different skill set than what we might deploy in the corporate world. And I would even challenge that it goes even a layer deeper, which many of our speakers and panelists have talked about today and in the keynote speakers yesterday, is providing the appropriate education and opportunities early on in the educations for the girls to really step up in that space. For media, to really promote and discredit the stereotypes that we have that women are in the supportive roles. Because truly, if you look at it from the science perspective, success, capabilities are really not dependent on gender. We all are capable of the same success if we're given the right opportunities, the right support system, the right education. And lastly, I would say the third thing I see missing is appropriate mentorship opportunities. I've been fortunate in my professional life to have some great men mentors who have guided me on how to navigate the pitfalls that come in this space. But I struggled with having more women entrepreneurs, women mentors who could also help me navigate how do I really balance what life? What barriers do I really need to prepare myself to cross being a woman? Often in my career, I've been really the only woman at the table, on the board table. Really only the woman of color, and certainly the only woman in the demographic of having young children and really having the needs of, yeah, I got to go home at 5 because I have to pick up my son, take him to basketball practice, and I'll log in back at 11 a.m. So having the mentors, having the space of that is also crucial for us. So really it brings us back to what can we do to set up the next generation, Lucy, as you talked about there. So I think the responsibility is in our hands too.
Wonderful. And Sonia, yourself as well, any experiences that you can share with us?
Well, let me say this: in Bahrain, we don't just have the money; we have the empowerment, and this is the beautiful thing about Bahrain. It started with the First Lady, Her Royal Highness Princess Sabika. She started an organization called the Supreme Council for Women, which all the men in Bahrain are now upset and trying to find the Supreme Council for Men because of the support and empowerment that our government is giving us. The Chamber of Commerce has 38,000 members businesses. 42% are women-owned companies. This includes a big percentage in construction, in retail, and even technology. We have been, as Bahrain, involved in Pitchet Palace, which is focused on a lot of technological innovation ideas. And ever since it started the last 3 years, initially the first year, 50% were women who were shortlisted. Second year, 60% were women who were shortlisted. The third pitch, 100% were women who were shortlisted. And they are Bahraini women with amazing, innovative ideas, creative, and a lot of them won the first place once they went to the next level. So this is the beauty of being in Bahrain. As an employee initially back in my days, I never felt that I had to compete with a man, be it to the salary, be it to the position. I had to always compete with the best. And the best could be a man or a woman. And the same thing when I became an entrepreneur. A lot of my mentors were men and women, and today I am giving back to society by being a voluntary mentor in many organizations, accelerators and incubators, where I can support both genders. We've never grown up to differentiate who we support, and this is the beauty of being in Bahrain. We support whoever needs support. I guess we're lucky in Bahrain to have this empowerment, this feeling. We don't like something in Bahrain called quotas. And the government does not impose on any organization the requirements of a woman being present, because we always have a position. I'm one of 3 women board members in the Bahrain Chamber of Commerce. I'm one of 4 women in the board of the Pension Fund of Bahrain, the social insurance organization. My company has 75% women executives. Yes, we supported them, but even the men executives that we have developed and trained the women. We respect their timing, we respect their maternity leaves. There is laws that support women in their maternity leaves, gives them the right timing that they have, but we still see many women cut their maternity leave and wanting to come back home. I think it's also the family environment we have in Bahrain, where family supports each other, and this is one of the key issues. If we need more women empowerment, families do also play a role in this aspect.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So I think I'm definitely moving to Bahrain. If you come to London, you don't find me. I'm in Bahrain. So building on from there, how can we build like market awareness around the potential for innovations that are developed by women, which actually are meeting the needs of women and girls? Right, because we know that if a company involves a woman in developing a product that is designed to serve women, actually it sells better. So how can we begin the process or even accelerate or expand that market awareness around the potential of innovation that is developed by women for women?
It is not directly my field, the innovation, but as I can say, as media, we can still positively select women because there's still a huge room to grow. So that's, I think, the only way is, at this point, unfortunately, it is not very scientific, but positively select women.
But also, we see more and more women are coming into media, and of course, the role that technology is playing. There are, whether it's actual media projects, media platforms, movies, production. I think the Oscars just finished, and I think it was the first time a woman, won an Oscar. So how can we increase the awareness that actually when women produce, or women are at the backbone of innovation in this space. So media, think of Oscars. How can we increase the market awareness so that more and more women are taking up that space, winning more Oscars?
Maybe if you start choosing more women projects also, like when you're watching a movie, choosing a movie director who is a woman could really help the industry to select more women, because you'll be surprised with the stories you would hear from Hollywood or Bollywood, does not matter, that women will never ever get either the pay or the chances.
Okay, so I'll think of another way, though, by the end of the session, that we're going to get women producing more movies. What about yourself, Shirley, in the health space? How can we build market awareness for women innovation by women for women?
There's fairly decent composition of women involved in health space. Growing up in the culture, there were sort of three acceptable careers for women: doctor, teacher, or supporting nurse. So there's no shortage of women in healthcare, yet there is shortage of women in healthcare at the executive tables. If you look at the health tech innovation space, there's shortage of women at the leading end of those health tech innovations. They're usually the back end support. They're the research, they're the R&D group on that. So I think, as I think about coming from healthcare innovation space, what can we do? I sort of wear my digital branding hat as I challenge the organizations to really look at the branding strategy. Are you indeed promoting diversity? Are you indeed pulling the all contributors that are, leveraging the success of that? Even if your women entrepreneurs are not at the investor table, the CEOs of that, they're usually in the back end R&D support. We all know, and we heard yesterday, that one of the key reasons the innovations fail in the healthcare space is they're great ideas from technology perspective, but they have no relevance in the real world. So leverage these women who are in the supporting roles, who are in the front lines, to be the strategic advisors in your operational, in your modeling on that. And from the branding perspective, you mentioned about media. I would probably expand that to say we're in the world of digital platforms. So as you look at your digital media strategy, do you have the voice of diversity in your brand? Are you leveraging your digital strategy to bring that diverse voice to promote the contribution of your women cohort in the success of your brand? So that might be another way to look at it.
Wonderful. And then Sonia, from the place to be. My favorite place in the world at the moment. Don't tell anyone from Ghana, okay?
Basically, one of the things we've been starting to do in Bahrain is we've had these young, beautiful ladies who've started doing free of charge coding classes, for example. And anyone from a housewife to somebody who's 50 or 60 years old can attend these sessions to learn how to do coding. We're trying to educate everybody that technology is the future. In whichever industry you are, if you're in health and if you're in F&B, if you're in hospitality, retail, if you don't have a technology edge, then you will be losing out, especially if you want to make your brand a global brand. But giving them that information without the support will not work. And this is why these sessions are being done, and they are regularly held every 3 months, free of charge. Any woman, any age gets enrolled. And this girl, I'm so proud of her. She's 25 years old. She's holding these sessions for 30 women at each time. And she's focused exclusively on women, voluntary job. Nobody's paying her anything to do this. And she's actually doing these coding sessions, helping women in different industries to be technology literate and to adapt technology to further develop their business models and to be global. And this is a beautiful approach, and we're encouraging a lot of organizations to do this. As the Chamber of Commerce, we recently launched a program where we want to certify entrepreneurs. Now, we're not going to say women only, it's going to be to men and women, but this is also what we're focusing on, not just to be an entrepreneur, but to be a certified, trained entrepreneur. Not just in technology, but even financial models. If you're managing your own business, you need to understand numbers. You need to read numbers when the finance manager gives it to you. And how do you evaluate your own business? How do you value your company? We're focusing on giving them these trainings to be able to identify the valuation of their companies, to grow it better, and accordingly get the right investors to invest in their companies. But you have to have the foundation right. You have to have the basis properly done.
Wonderful, thank you. Do we have any questions in the room? Yes, Lucy.
I really like I really like it when there's bodies that people can go to, and we talked about mentors and having taking a look and seeing that there's people that come before you. So, for instance, to get more women running for government positions in the U.S., there's an organization called She Should Run. And so I'm just wondering, specifically in your sectors, and I'm finding out in the production side of movies, when there's more women that are producers, then there's more women naturally in the film. So I'm wondering if there's a specific body that a woman can go to learn or learn from other producers. And then in health, is there an organization that women can go to where they get support if they do want to become in an executive role? I find those organizations useful. And if there's not, no worries.
Like now, the new industry I'm investing is gaming, and there's even in Turkey there's a woman in games. So there's a group of game company owners, software manufacturers, and so on. They get together and they try to actually be mentored to people who are trying to enter. Again, in the film too, there's in Turkey. But I think that the largest problem comes from first girls really wanting to excel. And in countries like mine, in the Middle East especially, and several parts of the world, women still need to be inspired. And we did a social responsibility project shooting a short video, and we showed it all cinemas, about women, hard work, and success, this triangle. And we want to emphasize this triangle by shooting the first Olympic qualifier of Turkish gymnastics, a woman. She was, and she did succeed then after 16 years of hard work. Usually, I have a young daughter. There is only idol they would see in the media is beautiful woman, which is quite unfortunate because woman has a huge potential. It's well-being, and we need to put it as the success story in front of the youngsters.
There are quite a few organizations coming up now that are women-based, that are focusing on promoting executive leadership, board member leadership, and health tech innovation for women. Coming from US, I'd encourage you to look at the local Chamber of Commerce's. There's She Coders. And then on sort of the other hat I wear, which is of digital transformation, boy, I think that field will be taken over by women. And to your point, it's not just providing mentorship now to women who are in the professional things. I'm part of organizations where we're doing these courses, including these mentorship courses early in the schools, so that, the women, even though you might not be in your traditional STEM field, I think the boundaries of careers and career tracks are blending, where you don't have to be necessarily in a medical doctor track field to really be an innovator in the health tech space. You could be coming from a digital transformation background and apply the same principles, because we are migrating to how do we do human care? How do we do patient-centered care? How do we create positive experiences? So it's wonderful to see that the healthcare domain is really expanding. In fact, one of our chief marketing officers that we just recently hired in the firm comes from the entertainment background in our healthcare forum, because we want to bring in that talent of how do we create the experience, how do we use a visual audio media to create this experience, even at the patient bedside on that. So there are a lot of organizations, and I'm blanking out on the name of that, but if you Google, the point there being, I think the mentorship is not just at the professional level, but at the earlier level too, to really open the doors.
Again, one of the major initiatives that the Supreme Council for Women is taking charge of today is women in technology, and how can we encourage more women and even girls when they graduate to actually get into this field and diversify in this field. They are focusing on hackathons, where basically they've created a criteria that different women of different age groups can work together on pitching for different projects. And it was such a wonderful opportunity, because you can see somebody who's in her late 50s with somebody who's in her early 20s working together, collaborating together with a beautiful, innovative project. And three of them won, and one of them was as advanced as creating a satellite that would trace oil spills in the sea, or predict early oil potential spills and how to control it. And it was that advanced, the opportunity. The other thing, again, I'll go back to culture. When I nominated myself for a board seat in the Bahrain Chamber of Commerce, I got calls from men left and right. Sonia, we need to help you. Come down to the market. We're going to take you to all the shops there, introduce you so that you get the support, you get the vote. It's the culture of how men support women and women support men and support each other. And I think this is one of the reasons why I won. I got all the votes, and it was surprising because it was the first time that I nominated myself. But it's the culture that we live in, that believes in women, that respects women, that believes if there is women on boards, then there will be a change. And this is the sense and the feeling that I, as a woman in Bahrain, have it. And I think this is what every country needs to focus on. It has to be a culture of acceptance. And I'll go back to something when I was a child. My father was a contractor, and I'm the eldest of 5 children. My father never said, "You're a girl, don't come with me to my construction site." On weekends, he would actually take me with him, and I learned how foundations are done and all that stuff, and I enjoyed it. But not once did I sense that because I'm a woman, or I'm a girl, and I was like 8 or 10 years old, I should not be involved in my father's business, which is a construction and supposedly a man's business. So it really goes back to the culture of the country and how the entire society perceives women and the role of women within society.
Okay, thank you. Keep the microphone. We have 60 seconds, so we can take a question with the 60 seconds.
just a really interesting initiative could be to capture all these initiatives around the world into one forum that could be available to everybody. And I mean, we started an initiative in Ireland, Code a Dojo, which was to get kids to teach each other how to code. And now it's in 1,000 locations around the world. And in Asia, women play a stronger role in that, young girls, than boys. There are all these great ideas that you guys have come up with here that are happening that can be built and made stronger through promotion alone.
Wonderful, thank you. We'll do that. So, yes, Her Excellency's got something to add. Yes.
Thank you. I fully subscribe to what you have said. I think our biggest cheerleaders are our fathers. I've had a cheerleader in the name of my father who also subscribed the same thing, that a girl and a boy should be given equal opportunity and she's capable of doing anything. And the second thing is that also what you have said is that women should be given the confidence. Men, when they are 20% ready for a promotion, they'll apply for it. Women will wait till she's 200%. So if there is opportunity, then just go for it, because nobody will tell you to do it. So get that self-confidence like you have done yourself. Just go out there and say, I'm good enough, look at me. And so the rest will be history.
Wonderful. We've got 6 seconds left. But since there's 3,000, we just want to give the space. Yes, my dear.
I work in an upcoming techno park in Kenya, and I pioneered a program that supports young girls and boys to learn coding between the age of 7 and 12. And for me, my question would be, how do we share these experiences, even using technology, by just collaborating and exposing whatever women and girls are doing in Bahrain to these other young girls in Africa, so that they're able, they get motivated and they can actually see the potential within them.
Yes.
Can I answer that?
Yes.
We have
6 seconds.
In 6 seconds, we have an application for the Supreme Council for Women, which can be downloaded, and you can have all the data about what is happening. The second issue is that we have the UNIDO ITPO office in Bahrain, and they are doing major connections between African countries and Bahrain and vice versa. We have competitions that are for innovation and technology, and please do follow their website and page, because there's a lot of opportunities that you can have this young generation from different parts of the world get involved and come to Bahrain and pitch, or vice versa.
Wonderful. So in 2 seconds, 2 seconds, 2 seconds, making 6 seconds, final words, please.
Women need to support women more. We need to lift each other. We need to mentor each other. We need to take care of each other, similar to how men do. And this would make us impressive more and having better positions and great opportunities to achieve.
Wonderful. Thank you.
I think I'll have to echo that. Together we indeed are stronger. And while we rely on men, while we ask our men to be supportive of us, I think we women really need to more loudly and strongly pull each other up on that. I think that's how we'll move ahead.
Wonderful.
I think to recover from where we got, we have to positively select women.
Wonderful. Thank you.